All right, what's going on, y'all? All right, back again. All right, so for some strange reason, somebody want me to talk about the Pesach. I didn't feel moved to talk about it. I still don't feel moved to talk about it. Um, but I had a Jewish man pull up and try to tow me at 12 a.m. Try to pull up and tow me at 12 a.m. on some Passover mess, and because I was fighting him, he let it go. He not understanding that Westlake Financial owes Utah, meaning one of the car dealership companies in Utah. Westlake Financial owes them because there's an APR with things. And when you take money, rather, I'll show that later. But when you take money from someone that's paying their payments on time and in full, you must pay your interest and you must pay the principal. The principal goes to the car company. The interest goes to Westlake Financial. When Westlake Financial first got my first payment, they didn't give a principal to Axial Auto. Then the second payment, they gave them like about $35, and then $100, and then it was iffy. It was never consistent. There was not a set payment of principal that went to Axial Automotive every month. So because people aren't stupid, people don't take it light. When you first got your first payment, you didn't give them a cut of the principal. And because you didn't give them the cut of that principal and there was no set payment to give them, they could not trust Westlake Financial. And they were telling me Westlake Financial isn't the best financial company to deal with. But what they was trying to say is fuck Westlake Financial. They're not faithful. They're not trustworthy. So you're not knowing that the law enforcement of Utah, I came out here for them. Many different reasons I came out here, but that was the one that really just set the stage. Why you think they make that? Why you think I made it here? How you think I got past all of the police and all of this? They basically told me to go ahead. At first they thought I wasn't paying my payments. So they ended up breaking one of my headlights because they thought I wasn't paying my payments. Mr. Rodriguez thought I wasn't paying my payments. When they went through my history, when I showed them on the app, I sent it to Kobe, who's the Aztec. I sent it to Kobe. I said, no, I've been paying my payments. Look. And they looked at the payments and like, oh, you paying your payments in full. They just not paying us a cut of your payments. That's $641 plus $5 for the processing fee. So they not giving us that 646. I mean, they not giving us a cut of that 646. So what's happening is they cheating us, whereas though they made it look like you're cheating us. You're not paying your payments in full. So from the very first payment, they were mistaken and they basically regretted what they did and realized that it's Westlake Financial that owes them, not me. I was actually being faithful and upstanding in business, but Westlake Financial wasn't. So we purpose to come out here on some, find a mess and basically give them a fight, give them a tug of war. Meaning you trying to make it look like Axial Automotive and the guy who actually is paying the payments, you made it look like the black guy's not paying the payments. So you wanted to put the blame on him. But we came out here together on some, we're going to find Westlake Financial. And that's why they came late at night. Tow truck companies don't come and tow cars. I don't give a fuck if you repossessing or not. You don't come 12 a.m. No fucking body is up at 12 a.m., especially if you're a Jewish man. You're not up at 12 a.m. You with your family some fucking way holding the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about, the Feast of Unleavened Bread or whatever, but you somewhere with your family. My bad. Wait a minute. I don't care if y'all see the code of that. So you somewhere with your family, right? And you being with your family, you not worried about what somebody else doing, blah, blah, blah. It pretty basically was a call and somebody felt some kind of way because I said something. They overheard what I said or they watched my video privately on some FBI bullshit and then came and snuck up on some secret shit and then got somebody to roll up on some dumb shit. And it was a black person typically, but the black people was more like playing both sides of the fence, tipping me off at the same time, playing the enemy, playing the devil's advocate, but you tipping me off at the same time, like, yo, niggas about to slide up. I'm like, all right, what that mean to me and shit? Like, you don't know that I'm here because of the law enforcement in Utah, but the law enforcement here in California, it's a clash, that's all. So you're not knowing that and shit. I just don't do shit just to do shit, especially being black. I just don't do shit to do shit, my nigga. Like, I do stuff by permission. But at the same time, I had my own people's best interests at heart when I'm doing things. So I was doing it also for me, the Cherokee Native, for the Aztec. I'm doing it for us. Now, when the payment was paid, the first payment I paid or whatever, that's when they decided not to deal with Westlake Financial anymore. So they didn't even want the Jeep anymore. So Axial Automotive they don't want the Jeep. They was like, when I told Kobe, he said, man, as long as you don't get in trouble with the bank. But I was like, oh, all right. So y'all don't want it. So I was like, okay, that was my way to ask Kobe, who's the Aztec, like, do y'all still want this Jeep or not? Because I'll bring it back to you and shit. I'll take this Jeep, bring it all the way back to Utah, and catch a plane or catch the train back to California. That's what I was purposing to do. But he was like, nah, you just don't get in trouble with the Westlake Financial and shit. I was like, oh, all right, y'all don't want it. So what he was saying is like, wait for him. What they really was saying was like, wait for these niggas, cause like where they at and shit, and where my money at. So Utah took it to heart. The whole state of Utah took it to heart. That's how I made it here, and how it even came here. Like, yo, where's my money at and shit. I don't care if it's one penny. You're not gonna take and give the whole interest to yourself and not put some of the principal to the car company, because you got to pay the car company, and the bank got to get part of that money. So when you disrespect the Axial Automotive, I guess looking at them like they're a new car company, we don't know who they are, fuck them for real. It's pretty much disrespecting them and shit. So they didn't get it. So when I showed it to Kobe, he was like, okay, so you was paying on time. So he took back his words, like, oh, he's not a dead brother. He actually was paying his payments on time, but they wasn't paying us part of the cut of the payments or whatever the case, or the APR. And that's what he was like, yo, what's the APR? So when I came here to California to get the registration and stuff switched over to California, it was like, what's the APR? How much you pay on taxes on this car? This, that, and the third. They was asking me like, what's the APR? They wanting to know and shit. I was like, oh, I gotta look back at it, because I forget. I gotta look back at the papers to see what the APR was and how much it's supposed to come out every month for the or whatever the case. So I was like, yeah, let me take a look at that. But there is an APR. There is a certain amount of money that comes out that goes to the car company, the car dealership, as well as Westlake Financial. So that's that double. That 40,000. That's why I went from 20 something thousand to 40 something thousand, because of the interest. So I gotta pay double the price for the Jeep. Like, the Jeep is actually worth lower than 20 something thousand, but it's actually worth 18,000. But they sold it for 20 something thousand to me, but got the loan for 20 something thousand. So that I owed 40 something thousand, $46,000 altogether just for this this Jeep or whatever. But number one, it's not worth it already, number one. Number two, when Westlake Financial gave a loan to it, they decided not to pay them the money. So it wasn't that they got the loan money all up front. It was that as long as I'm paying the payments, they getting a cut of that loan or whatever the case. So it was like they still didn't get the loan. They still didn't get the $20,000 loan. So when I went up there and they was like concerned, the lady, Miss, I think it was Miss Ashley. I forget it. I gotta go back. She was like, she did the transactions and stuff. She was like, the guy came up. She was like, "Do you have the payments or not?" She was basically asking him. He was a guy that was part of some other company or something. And he looked at me and then looked at her like, "Are you going to pay me the payments or not?" Like, she knew that I was paying my payments, but are you going to give me the cut of the payment that he was paying and shit? But it was like she was telling him that he is paying his payments. It's just that Westlake Financial aren't giving us the principal. They just taking all that shit and putting it on the interest. And so when he looked at me, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. We're going to handle this." So I went down to the Genesis dealer, and the Genesis dealer, I showed them that I was paying my payments. So instead of go to Axial Automotive, I went to Genesis. And Genesis, the guy was like, "Oh, okay." So he was like, "How many payments?" He was like, first thing he asked me, "So how many payments you paid already?" I paid like about all the payments. So he was like, let me see. I'm like, let me show you. So I show another dealership that I've been paying my payments on time, and that the principal and interest is always uneven every month. It's not a consistent certain amount of money taken out every month. Like if you're gonna give the principal a $200, all right, the principal is $200 to go to Axial Automotive, but then you take the 400 and whatever. You wasn't keeping it consistent to $200. You would do like 235, then the next payment you wouldn't even give the principal. So basically you're not even paying the car dealership. So who's faithful, who's not faithful? It started off as everyone's faithful and everyone's on point and everybody's doing just business, to Westlake Financial want to do some shaky shit off top and not, be faithful with that, giving the payments to Axial Automotive. So whereas though it looked like I'm this black guy that's in California somewhere and I'm not paying my payments, it's an agreed plan to find Westlake Financial and figure out who's trying to tow the truck, we want to know who's trying to come get the shit. Now, they're going to use black people, of course, to spy it out. But the black people aren't really the ones that's going to take it. They just the ones that's just the voice because they in California. They paying them off, tipping them off, things like that to spy on this guy. They not giving them the information to let them know that, no, he good. They flipping it to make it look like he ain't paying his payments and shit. They just don't know the whole story. Or some of them may do know the whole story. They just probably like, I don't give a fuck, still pay your payments. You black like me and shit. Pay your payments like I got. You not understanding that this wasn't just a plan that I made up and shit. So you not knowing that, or probably having a mind on yourself, you kind of being hesitant. And you start doing small stuff like cutting the water fountain off on the library and shit because he ain't paying. You're not realizing that you waiting on time for me to pay my payments or get on my feet to pay my payments. That was dead soon as the Axial Automotive said, fuck Westlake Financial. They didn't pay us the principal on the very first payment. They took the whole $641 and didn't give us a cut of that. So how the fuck I know that they not gonna do that shit again? You didn't pay me the very first payment. So then by the time the seventh payment come, you might not pay me again and shit. So once you don't pay me the first time, you ain't gonna pay me every time. That's how you looking at it, my nigga. That's how people don't play with their money and shit. They Caucasian people. You know what I'm saying? They not black people. Black people will take a hit, and black people, you probably thought Axial Automotive was probably like a Spanish car dealership or some shit like that. You not knowing it's Caucasian Rand. Like, it's not Spanish people you dealing with. This is Caucasian Americans, my nigga. Superman and them is who you dealing with the glasses. That's who you dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So when you did that to them, of course, all of the state of Utah is watching the Jeep and shit, looking for Westlake Financial to come at a reasonable time to take the Jeep, because then we want to exchange words with them. We had something to say and shit. That's why things was played the way it's played. And then also when they came late at night, somebody was just fed up and tired and shit, and they came late at night at 12 a.m. try to the Jeep and was like, we gonna take this because I'm like, yo, I hopped up the car and saw I was fighting the guy and shit. Like, no, I don't come late at night. It wasn't that I cared that he was like really taking it and shit, because I know that him taking it, that Utah is gonna find out about where they taking it, what they're gonna do with it, and they want to see the face of the person that's want to tow it and shit like that. They want to know, who's taking that money and shit. So don't come late at night in the darkness and shit trying to take something. Come early in the morning when it's there, nobody there and shit. Is, you know what I'm saying? Come in daytime when you see people walking around and shit like that. You came late at night and shit. And there's nothing open. Like, if you come and get the Jeep at 12 o'clock, right? 12 a.m. you come get the Jeep. But you just gonna sit it on the tow truck and shit and then park the tow truck on the side of the road? You ain't gonna do nothing but pick it up, take it somewhere, drop it down, give it to somebody else to look inside that shit and dry that shit. And they gonna dry that shit and do whatever. They gonna hot that shit, figure out how to mix up like do something with the title and get a new title and shit, like what they call it, a refurbished title. I forgot what they call it. It's something like it had the title, but they had found it and they try to get a new title, or they probably just take that shit, drop it somewhere, and take that shit apart, use and take the parts of it off of it and shit, and use it for parts or sell parts of the Jeep. You know that's what they trying to do, but it's something that Utah's trying to do, and they know that what they trying to do too. So now here I am talking about it again. So this ties into the Passover situation where I got a Passover last night because I participate in the Pesach because the guy was Jewish and shit. I looked Jewish. He looked like he was a Jewish man. He also looked like Superman. And then like you just stupid. You don't know what the fuck going on. You still worried about my payments ain't coming. You not realizing that, my nigga, Westlake Financial ain't been paying none of y'all. It's not me that you looking at me and my brown skin thinking that instantly I'm guilty because I'm a native, so I'm going to be disrespectful. No, my nigga, I wasn't disrespectful at no times. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that Axial Automotive wasn't getting a cut of the payment until they start fucking up the car and shit. I'm like, why they fucking up the car? Broke the headlight and shit at the bottom. I'm like, why they do that shit? So I looked at it and shit, start looking at my stuff like, oh shit, they not paying them. I was like, oh, so I ended up telling Kobe, yeah, I'm paying. Showed him and shit. Had to send him in a text message. Yeah, I'm paying you, my nigga, but they not giving you the cut. So it looked like I'm not paying at all. So it looked like the very first payment, I didn't pay y'all at all. That's what it looked like. I was unfaithful for 1 month. Like, fuck that 1 month. I'm just going to take this whole 1 month free, and then I'm going to start paying my payments and then in part and shit. So then you start not trusting me, and then you saw the details and you saw the history, the payment history, like, oh, no, fuck that. Off the first payment, we not trusting Westlake Financial. So, yo, fuck that Jeep for real. We don't want the Jeep for real. We're going to have you end up taking it to California and shit. We're going to have you end up taking it to California and fuck that shit. Of course, they're going to do whatever they're going to play and shit and play us and shit like that. But we going to try to keep tabs on them and shit where they're going to take the Jeep at. The Jeep is hot wired, my nigga. Jeep is hot wired. It's like a police car or some shit. It's hot wired and shit. So it's 100% tracked and shit like that. So they know that. That's why, like, when the payments that get paid all these months, nobody was caring. They trying to find out where Westlake at, where the Westlake people at. But when they came 12 a.m., that's why I ended up fighting back. No, don't come 12 a.m. We don't want you to come at 12. We want you to come in broad daylight where we can see you on the camera and shit. See who the person is hopping out the truck and shit. Because you're not going to take this shit all and drive it all the way back to Utah. No, you're not. You're going to take it to some shop and break that shit down. Or whatever, some company or some rental company is going to try to take that shit and use it for a rental car to make extra dollars and shit. That's all y'all trying to do. So the purpose was to break this shit. Like, you try to take it on some dumb shit, I'm going to break this motherfucker, crash this shit. And you're not going to want to really spend money to repair it and shit. You're not going to want to spend money to repair it. You just want to take it because it don't have no squeaks, no sounds. Then I made that shit get squeaks and sounds. Yeah, now it got squeaks and sounds on just me driving that shit down the road. It got the squeaks and shit. You don't want to take that shit now. You're like, man, fuck that shit. You don't want to invest now because it's the point. The point is, don't steal people's money. You know, they saw that I did faithful and I did just by them. It even got so bad to where Uber took $200 of my money and shit. Took $200 of my money before I was able to tell Axial Automotive what happened and shit. So they took my money out of turn. They Uber robbed me and shit for $200. Or somebody called me pretending they was Uber and then, took my money and shit, took $200 of my money. Like, I don't owe nobody. My rap sheet clean and shit. I don't owe anybody anything. Uber started taking my money and shit, took $200 of my dollars. So they owe me and shit. Uber owe me. Niggas looking at me like I owe them. I don't owe nobody any fucking thing. I don't. It's like so disrespectful that you owe me and shit. You just want to keep on like, damn, you just want to take shit from me still. But I'm like, fuck you. I'm like putting my foot down like, nah, nigga, y'all owe me $200 plus you owe Axial Automotive. Y'all owe niggas first. Pay your shit back to us first. And you don't like the fact that we saying pay us back first. You don't like the small guy saying that shit because we don't got power really to make you pay us. You just don't like that we put our foot down and don't give you shit. It's like you trying to get drugs from across the border, but you talking about Gulf of America. Niggas don't want to give you no drugs. They don't want to give you shit. They don't want to ship shit no more. They'll keep that shit to themselves. They'll burn that shit down before they give it to you because you're not paying them and shit. You trying to take that shit. Same difference. So they tried to do it on some Jewish shit because, it's like right and wrong now. It's like right and wrong. If you wrong, we gonna get you. If you right, then we gotta let it go. So that's how they ended up letting it go. Like I said, the guy looked like a Jewish man. He looked like Superman at the same time, like he from Utah or some shit. Some guy with glasses, but he looked like Mr. Seinfeld guy and shit. And don't double dip the chip guy. Look like another don't double dip the chip guy and shit. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Cause I'm like, I know the Torah, but I just ain't do a video on the Passover. I didn't feel like I should. Why should I? You know what I'm saying? Let somebody else do it. Watch another video. So many brothers out here teaching on the Pesach. It's so many different dates too. But this one is the calendar date. But people participate on different days and stuff like that. So it's like I just don't feel like I didn't feel like giving a general video talk about it. But because they did that shit last night trying to provoke me to talk about it, why? You know what I'm saying? But I'll do it for the sake and shit. I'll do it for the sake. Now, on April 12th, it says evening